Very frankly speaking, sports. And the big question keeps coming up year after year after year. Every time we start preseason, start preseason, we hear, should the starters play or should the starters rest? Well, I'll tell you what, it's very simple to me. And, I don't understand why more people don't understand this, but the starters should and they need to play. That's right. They need to play. I hear different reasons why starters shouldn't play. Well, what happens, Larry, if they get hurt? You know what? That's part of football. There's going to be times when people get hurt. It's inevitable. You can get hurt in practice. You can get hurt just walking down the street. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. But at the end of the day, by protecting your players for game one of the season, a lot of bad things can happen. Number one, when you get into game one, there are a lot more injuries that could have happened during the preseason because your players are not in game shape. They are twisting ankles, ruining their hamstrings, and so on and so on and so on. That's number one. Number two, winning is important in the NFL, and it's proven fact that the teams that play their starters and are ready to go by game one end up being more effective and win a good percentage of the times in that first game. Okay, especially if you're a team, for example, like the Tennessee Titans. Let's start with them first. Okay, you're a team like Tennessee, you got a brand new offense. Your starters, game one, should be playing at least two series, if not more, which is about 12 to 18 snaps. Okay, if they're not effective, then when we go to game two, they should play at least a half. I say at least a half in game two. And if you're still not satisfied, they should go as long as they need to till you feel comfortable in game three. There's a lot of things you got to be ready for. The pace of the game. You got to also be ready for the full timing of the game, the amount of minutes you play in the game. Now, I'm not saying game three, the starters should play the entire game. But you have to go into game one having your team ready. And too many times, teams don't have it. In the Tennessee Titans example, they got a new offensive scheme. They got a new offensive line. They got some new players. They need to. You take a team like the Carolina Panthers, they have a brand new quarterback in Bryce Young, who's starting right out of the get go. A bunch of new receivers in what Adam Thielen, DJ Chalk, just to name a few. They need to go ahead and get the team ready and used to the timing of the game. So, for those of you folks that don't think starters should play, you're wrong. You're completely wrong, and I'll argue with you all day long. Those people, like, we had Paul Kaharski, who I love and respect dearly, who's been covering the NFL for over 25 years. He was on our show this week and he said, Larry, I don't believe that starters should play. He said, look at the Rams when they won a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl. My rebuttal to that is, look at the Rams when Trent Green went down as the quarterback. You would have never heard of Kurt Warner. Somebody gets hurt, it's next man up. But at the end of the day, you have to play these starters until you feel they are ready to go and they are competent enough to win games. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to have a preseason if you're not letting your starters get ready. And don't tell me you want to look at young guys, this and that. I understand that. You can still get them into these games, but don't give me some lame bullcrap excuse that you're worried about somebody getting hurt. That can happen whenever. And I'll tell you what, I believe there's a bigger chance of getting hurt later on in the season because you were not ready, especially in game one. I'm Larry Frank.